So emptiness and form. I did talk about this last week.
Oh, okay.
I didn't post it because I wasn't really happy about the tone of my voice.
Well, that'll be ego.
So as soon as I work through my issues, I'll post that.
I can wait.
No, talking about it last time, I think gave me a better sense of how to answer it more quickly. So emptiness and form. One of my original, what I consider a spiritual inspiration was realizing that mass equals energy. You know, energy equals mass. That is a basic, now scientific fact, scientifically proven fact. The form equals emptiness. And it really did. It blew me away to realize that what we consider the material world, if you speed it up to a certain extent, then it just transforms into something that's pure energy and has no mass. So that's kind of a scientific explanation of form and emptiness. So the emptiness would be like pure energy. Emptiness doesn't mean void or nothing. It really means more like activity without attachment.
Right.
So in Zen terminology, form and emptiness would be like we have our form, like that we're sitting. We sit in this form. And the emptiness might be our dropping of our body and mind. Like the emptiness might be the experience of just being here in the form without being attached to it or to anything. So if I'm sitting and I'm focusing on the pain in my leg and I'm just upset, I'm like, oh, I just have so bummed about the pain in my leg, and it's bringing up my anger and my resentment, and I'm pissed off. That's form. That's like manifesting form within form. So the experience of the emptiness would be more like I'm sitting with pain and I'm just letting it go, continually letting it go. And I'm not getting triggered. My anger isn't getting triggered by it because that's empty. I mean, I can tell stories all day about why I'm angry and why this sucks and why it hurts. But the emptiness is to be able to just let that go. It's like processing it spontaneously. So it doesn't mean I'm just sitting here with a blank mind. It's more like I'm able to let go of the things that come up. And when I get stuck on them, or when I start holding on to something, that's when it takes form. And so in my life, in my daily life, if I get upset at work and I disagree and I really think that person is wrong and that they must be a bad person because they don't understand what I'm saying and they won't let me explain myself. I mean, whatever. Then I'm holding on and I'm giving form to that conflict and that separation. So an experience of the emptiness would be like, okay, I'm upset, you're upset, I know we disagree, you know, when you raise your tone of voice, you know, I feel triggered and I feel upset, so I request that we, you know, either take a break and come back and talk about it later when we can both have a clear head, or maybe we can just drop it. And then we're not taking it home, and we're not waking up in the middle of the night thinking about how much that sucked. We're just like done with it, and we let it go. That's the emptiness. That's manifesting emptiness in that situation. So now if you just apply that to everything, then you got it. And dualism. So dualism is thinking that there is taking separation literally. Like duality is like either or. Like the foundation of logic is that something either is or it isn't. There's yes or no. There's only yes or no answers. So there's a duality in our, in our rational thinking, which is good. It's good to have that structure for most of our practical decisions. But on a deeper spiritual level, if we take duality literally, then we actually think that people who disagree with us, who are on the no side, we think that they're really different from us, or that we don't have anything in common. So all of our wars, all of our conflicts at home and abroad are based in the idea that there's other people who are really different than me, and we cannot relate, and so we need to overcome them in order for the right side to win. So that's duality. So the other side would be oneness, which is, okay, we disagree, I can see that we disagree and that we're different. Let's agree to disagree. If we can agree to disagree, then we're manifesting oneness, even though we disagree. Oneness doesn't mean we're all like dancing and partying together and we all agree about everything. That's Burning Man. Oneness means that, yeah, everything sucks, I'm pissed off, things are going bad, people disagree with me, and I know that we still share the same feelings. We all share the same desire to have a good life and to be happy. And so it takes the pressure off thinking that there's something different. Realizing that we're all part of the same thing. So God in the workplace. That should be the name of a workshop. All the time. God includes being upset and feeling annoyed and feeling separate. Taking the separation literally is disconnecting from that, from the God that's available. So if I can, even if I'm at work and I'm feeling connected and feeling one and I'm in the flow, even when that changes and I'm feeling frustrated and isolated and separate, if I can remember that that's part of it too, it like makes the river bigger and includes everything that isn't water, then everything is part of the flow. And so and that's kind of, these all interrelate and they all overlap and they're the same thing. So being upset and realizing that that's part of the oneness. The oneness is available within the discontent. All the time. You can always be one with your discontent. Guaranteed. If you want to always be happy with your discontent, well, you can get closer. You can get closer in this practice. That's really what this practice is about, is getting closer to being happy more. So the ego and the true self, and realizing that they are the same. Well, the ego gets a bad rap. Really, the ego has protected us and has been there to serve us for our whole life. The ego is what tells the baby that it has to cry to get food, to remind people to feed us. That's the ego. So we grow up and we still feel like we need to cry or scream to get attention and to get people to take care of us. And the true self is, the part that has been taken care of. So, for me, I still feel pain from the part of me that hasn't been taken care of, and it makes it difficult to talk about. But they're both me. The part of me that's angry and resentful and wants to react is the same as the me that wants to take care and be compassionate. They just both need space. They both need to be acknowledged and accepted, and given boundaries. So the ego, my ego without boundaries, just goes crazy and just is insatiable and wants to be really angry at all, at everything and nothing, and wants to completely cover all the pain up, and wants to be an addict, an alcoholic, and a sex addict, and a food addict, which I am on all of these. And it's easy, it's easy to say identify that with the ego. And the true self is the part of me that has been taken care of enough to have a glimpse that there's more. That those things, although they've helped me to survive, are not truly fulfilling. Surviving and being fulfilled are two different things. So if we're lucky enough to survive, then we have an opportunity to be fulfilled. And so the true self is the part of us that inherently is compassion and wisdom and knows. The true self and the ego are not our conscious mind. Our consciousness is the last one to know.